What's going on, guys? Matt Artisan here from theattractiveman.com, and today we're going to talk about how to touch a girl during the daytime. Because a lot of guys get confused about this because they know it's a daytime situation where, you know, you can't be the touchy guy or it can come off really creepy, whereas at nighttime you can touch right away. It's kind of normal, and a lot of times you have to because it's so loud. You have to get really close to her in order to hear her and for her to hear you. But in the daytime, it's different. So a lot of times guys think they shouldn't touch at all, but that's not good either because you want to start that physical escalation right away. So what do you do? Well, it's really simple. There's only going to be a few opportunities for you to touch. One of them is going to be during the handshake. So when you first meet her, you might walk up and say, hey, real quick, this is really random, but I just saw you here at the beach, and I just thought it'd be a good idea to say hi to you. Hi. Okay, so you want to be direct like that. So you say hi, and then stick out your hand. Here's a key too. I see a lot of guys do this. They look at their hand. They're like, hi, nice to meet you. You don't want to do that, okay? So instead, look right in her eyes. Notice the whole time I made good eye contact. Look right in the eye and say, hi, I'm Matt. Okay? Then shake her hand, obviously. Strong handshake, but here's the key. Let it linger a little bit. If you're just like this, hi, nice to meet you, it's kind of formal. Now, if she pulls away, then obviously let her pull away. Don't just hold it. But it's much better. You can create a more intense moment. And that's what you want to do. You want to create this moment, this movie moment. You want this really have an impact. You don't want to just be the nice guy who is having a nice conversation with her and everything is, you know, very nice and platonic and you just do a nice handshake. Instead, notice what I'm doing. I'm standing pretty close to her. I'm a little bit more than arm's distance away. Now, sometimes you're gonna have to stand a little bit further back because she's gonna be like, what's going on? But sometimes she's just gonna be totally comfortable and just hold that moment with her. Shake hands, let the hand linger, the handshake linger, and then keep talking. So listen, I gotta go in a second, but I don't know anything about you. So before I go, tell me one cool thing about you, like besides your looks. What are you all about? So notice this whole time we're having this conversation, I'm holding her hands. Now, again, sometimes a girl will just let you, she'll be really into it, and you'll just hold hands the whole time. Sometimes I'll notice things on her hands. Some girls like her she doesn't really have anything on her hands, but I'll notice something on her hands. I'll look down and I'll just say, oh, that's a really interesting ring. What's the story behind that? Okay, it just adds a little bit more touching. Or I might notice her nails and say, wow, this is a really interesting color. And just make a little comment like that, okay? So that's another way to add a little bit of touching during the daytime. Or a bracelet. Wow, that's a really cool bracelet. Okay, so you can do that. You have two options when you can do that. You can do that during the handshake, right? Hold the handshake and notice something. I typically don't do it there. I like to hold the handshake and just create that moment like I was talking about. So maybe later in the interaction we're talking, let's say she pulled away really quickly during the handshake, and then we're talking, and then later I just glance down and I notice something. I say, wow, that's an interesting watch. Is that Michael Kors? And she says yes, no, and I just kind of look at it, and that's it, and then drop it. The key is to release in that kind of situation. I'm not going to just hold like this and say, okay, so tell me blah, 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 more about you. That's just kind of weird if I just hold it. So I want to release it in that kind of situation. And honestly, guys, that's really it. I mean, you can do a little bit of touching, like, really? Oh my God, that's crazy. Especially if you're standing this close. And this is why you need to stand this close. If you're further away like this, and I'm like, really? That's weird, that's crazy. That's just weird. I had to like reach and lean over. So instead you stand right here, and as we're having this conversation, it's called just normal conversational touching. If she says something interesting, really, are you kidding me? But it has to be in context. I can't just be like, so tell me something interesting about you. That's weird. Or, oh, so do you live around here? That doesn't make sense. It's like, it's coming out of nowhere. It has to like make sense. Like I'm touching her for impact. Like maybe I say, hey, have you ever been to that store over there? And see, I touched her shoulder there. I say, oh my God, I have to tell you what happened to me earlier today. Okay, so check this out, blah, blah, blah. So I'm touching her and it just puts emphasis on the word, okay? So you're touching for emphasis. And then at the end, you say goodbye. This is the other place where you'll touch. So I usually do this. I say, okay, well, it's nice to meet you. Bye. And I kiss the cheek, just once usually. Now, some guys think that's kind of crazy to do if you don't live in like a Latin country. Right now we're in Mexico, it's totally fine. In Brazil, you do 2 kisses, it's totally normal. I don't usually do 2 unless I'm in Brazil or somewhere like that. But even if I'm in the US or other countries where it's not the norm, Europe, for example, unless you're in France, Italy, and Spain, I think they all kiss. Even if I'm in like UK, I'll still do the kiss on the cheek. And she might be not expecting it. That's okay. Because it just creates that more of a moment. It's kind of charming. It's kind of just a cute thing to do. So I highly recommend you do the kiss. I'll do the handshake. Well, it's nice meeting you. Kiss on the cheek, and then walk away. Now, if you're in India, if you guys are watching this and you're in Asia, most parts of Asia, I wouldn't do it. India, places like that, I wouldn't do it in those places. They would just kind of freak out, I think, if you went for a kiss on the cheek. But if you're in any type of Western culture, I recommend do that. Now, if you don't want to do that, you can also go for a hug. You can say, okay, it was nice meeting you, and just go for a hug. And make sure you do a good hug. Don't just do like, okay, and like the pat on the back. I don't know if you can see that, but don't just do this. Like make it a good hug where you actually like embrace her. It doesn't have to be long because it'd be kind of weird. 5-second hug, that'd be a little weird. You just met the girl during the daytime and you're in like a coffee shop or something and you're like embracing. No, but just keep it like this one more time. I just like hugging you, that's all. Okay, so again, just to recap, shake hands, hold the hand longer than normal. Make sure it's a strong handshake. You can also notice things on her hand. You can also notice things that she's wearing too, if she has a necklace and things like that, but you don't want to be the weird touchy guy during the daytime. At nighttime, you can get away with a lot more. During the day, don't do too much touching. Don't go overboard with it. And then at the end, either hug or kiss on the cheek. So that's it, guys. If you do that, it's gonna make more of an impact than just, no touching at all and little handshake at the end and handshake in the beginning that's really like short. You wanna have an impact. So use your touching to create that physical dialogue and you'll see that your interactions will go a whole lot better. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. And also I got a free training for you to show you exactly what to say after hello that sparks attraction and keeps the conversation going. So make sure to check that out. There's a link down below. Go ahead and click that and get that free training.